right.
Yeah.
So today is July 9th. I'm here with Susie, and we are going to do a sample coaching session. What does coaching look like? What is it for? And how can it really benefit all of our lives? So if you have no idea what a coaching session looks like, this is for you. So let's get into it. Hi, Susie. How are you doing today?
Good. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too. Is there a topic that you would like to be coached on today?
Yeah, I'm kind of moving in a new direction career-wise, and I'm struggling with how much time I spend preparing for this new career during the summer because
Mm,
I'm home with my three kids, and the whole point of building a new career is to work that into the life that I'm living, right? I've done the path where my career took over my life and I wasn't spending enough time with the kids.
mhm.
And then I've done the path where I had no career and I was wholly devoted to the kids. And I want to find that balance of personal fulfillment in creating something that nourishes and sustains me career wise, and also being really present for my family and children, for the next decade while I still have kids home with me. Um, so I'm trying to be
So
really
no big deal,
intentional,
just trying to solve the motherhood
just trying
conflict
to
of the
solve
21st century.
the problem that literally every mother has been trying to solve. Exactly.
No, that's great. That's great. I love
Yeah.
how mindfully you're thinking about it and how you have so many good things going on, right? And you're so passionate about so many things. Um, and so what would you like to resolve from this session? Is if we're trying to be specific, what would be a goal that you're trying to set for yourself
I
for this
think,
coming summer?
yeah, I think what would be helpful is if you and I could maybe brainstorm some specific things I'd like to get done before the kids get to school, and then set some goals for maybe like the fall,
Mhm.
August, September, October. So that way I feel like I have a more clear idea of what it is that I like should be working on. And then I can feel more settled in knowing that I'm being really intentional about my time because I'm working towards these goals and not just feel like I'm trying to fit things in.
Yes.
Yeah,
So you want to be proactive about your plans so that you're not just kind of living on autopilot and reacting when things come up.
exactly. Yeah. Proactive, not reactive. I love that. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, great. So let's start with the summer plans then for the kids, since that's the most short-term goal here. Um, what would the ideal rest of the summer look like as far as what they're doing and as far as what you're doing on a day-to-day?
So it's kind of nice because we're heading into, July is the month that I have enrolled them all in camp, in various camps. And I've got three kids and they're all doing 2 weeks of camp. None of them are doing 2 weeks of camp at the same time.
Of
So I
course.
always, of course, which actually is okay because anyone who's watching that has three kids knows that even when you go down to two or one, it's like way easier. So
Yes.
I have one kid home right now and it's, she's just like doing her own thing and
Mhm.
I can have this conversation with you. But it does mean I have some more time for myself. So,
Mhm.
and then the first 2 weeks of August, we have nothing at all planned whatsoever. And then they go back to school the third week.
Mhm.
So what feels like it would be really helpful is being, getting some stuff done in July. And maybe that's what I need help with is what do I want to get done while they are at camp, while I do have a
Yes.
little bit more time.
Mhm.
And then recognizing that in August, I won't be able to like get much done for the first couple weeks at least, and
Right.
spend that time going to the beach or eating popsicles or taking them to the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first off, like congratulations because you are recognizing um, how important quality time is with your kids, which I know you already know, but you're such an amazing mom and scheduling this out and prioritizing that time with them is super special. They're very lucky to have you. And so whatever we come up with today, just know that, you're doing an amazing job already. So, August is that time that you want to spend with them and kind of get most of your professional goals and projects finished in July. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So you said they're at camp at different times. what is realistic as a day-to-day kind of goal for you to set professional wise, and how would you like to focus that?
Well, so, hmm, I guess I'm not sure if it's more helpful to focus on like how many hours I can spend working on my own stuff, or what is it that I want to accomplish? Like,
Yeah, and I can ask you a question that might help with that. When was the last time that you felt like, wow, I was on a roll and I got so much stuff done? And what was your process behind that period of time?
that's helpful. Yeah. Um, I think last fall, after the kids are in school, was when I launched my podcast, and I kind of had a process where I would spend a few hours researching and drafting and kind of taking notes and what do I want to talk about, and then I would spend, an hour recording and editing, and then spend an hour or two posting it and creating social media around it. And it felt pretty, and I was able to pretty consistently create 1 to 2 episodes per week. So
Mhm,
it's kind of building a backlog of that.
mhm.
So that when I launched, I think I started that process in August. And so I launched in October, and I had a backlog of like 6 episodes ready to go.
Wonderful.
Um, so yeah, I think having that set aside time where I can look at my calendar, because my calendar is all over the place. So it's like I can't
Mhm.
say every day from 10 to 1 I can do this
Right,
thing, you know.
right.
But looking at it
And
ahead
then
of
you're setting yourself up for failure, right? Of
time.
10 to 1, I'm going to do this thing. And of course, things are going to come up, right? So I found, especially with moms, it's helpful to do more general stuff. And then as you can fit it in throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And like what I really like doing is like looking at my calendar as a whole and being like, okay, Thursday I have nothing going on. So I can definitely get 4 hours of work done that day, and then Wednesday we're at this camp and this camp and this camp and errand and vet appointment and all this stuff. So I'm not gonna get anything done on Wednesday.
Right.
So maybe setting aside time on like a Monday morning to look at the calendar ahead and see,
Mhm.
uh, okay, where am I gonna fit it in? What's it gonna be this week? Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. What would you want to call that time?
Ooh, planning time.
Planning time. Great.
Yeah.
And where can you put it as a reminder so that you really follow through and do it?
Hmm. I mean, I think I could just put it in my Google Calendar because I kind of live and die by my Google Calendar. So I
Perfect.
just schedule planning time. It sounds so
Beautiful.
simple.
I know it does. And that's the point of coaching, right? Is like we come and we're like, how? And then we just kind of soundboard off of someone and then we're like, oh, that's how. Of course.
I
I
have
had
this
all
answer.
the answers inside me.
Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
setting aside planning time, like that's it, like that's how it starts. And then sitting down with my cup of coffee and planning. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And do you foresee any obstacles that might get in the way of that planning time?
Uh, it's funny. It feels sort of like backwards. Like the obstacles that I can foresee is the stuff that I can't foresee, right?
Hmm.
Like a kid is sick in the middle of the night, or I've had to get some work done in my cars. Like my car is in the shop right now, and
Hmm.
it's been like back and forth with insurance and the dealer and all the stuff. And like I've driven 4 different cars in the last month. Like I don't even know what car I'm going to be driving. So
Oh
that's
my,
a silly thing, but it's like the unexpected stuff that
totally.
pop up. Yeah.
So if something were to pop up at the time that you had set aside in your Google Calendar for planning, what would be the best next step to take?
Well, the great thing about Google Calendar is you can just move it with your finger.
There we
So
go.
take the little clock and move it to the next day. Yeah. And then recognizing that, okay, that's what happened. So planning time is now on Tuesday, and that's
Mhm.
okay. I can't
Yep.
have an emergency. I don't have emergencies every single day. Like there are
Right.
days where it's like, okay, you can sit down and plan. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Great. Good. Good. And who's someone that can keep you accountable to giving yourself that planning time at the beginning of every week?
My husband is really supportive about everything that I like to accomplish. And so if I say to
Good.
him, like, hey, can you please make sure that I have set aside an hour? It won't take more than an hour. And it won't even take more than 30 minutes to plan the rest of
Hmm.
the week. Um, but like maybe asking him to keep me accountable. He would love that. My gosh, he loves to I'm always telling him like, don't tell me any, don't tell me how I feel, or like, don't give me advice, just listen. If I said
Yeah.
to him specifically, will you please keep me accountable and give me advice? He'd be like, oh, yes, I'd love
I've
to.
been waiting for this.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting for this moment. Of course I will. Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah, he's a good guy for that. Yeah.
Good. You have a good team going.
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. And so then what would the next steps look like after this call of, how can you make sure that you implement this right away?
I mean, literally, I have time after this call to just sit down and make my first planning session. It's
Beautiful.
what's today? It's summer. I don't even know what day it
Today's
is.
Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got back from vacation. So like, I think sitting down and planning might be like, I actually have to unpack 3 suitcases and do 87 loads of laundry and like go grocery shopping because we've been living off of frozen pizza for the last 2 days. So,
Yeah,
uh, and maybe and I don't know if I'm changing directions here, but like,
that's okay.
how do I make sure that I prioritize? I don't let what I want to get accomplished for myself. Like this is again, every mom's like
Hmm.
silly
Dilemma.
question dilemma
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's so easy to let that stuff go and have my planning time be sucked into like making a grocery list for the family and like, checking on my kids. So
What
help
would
me.
be a good ratio of, okay, I have my household chores, my mom responsibilities. What ratio of your week would you like to devote to that versus your own personal planning time or for your for your business?
That's a good question because I feel like during the summer, I mean, they're home most, yes, they're in camp here and there, but that's just like during the day. And then and the evenings are so long. I mean, they're not even going to bed until like
Hmm.
9 or 9 is on a good day. Sometimes at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. You have to go to sleep.
Yeah,
Um, so I would love it to be more even, but for sure it feels like it's like from waking up to going to sleep, it's like 85% family,
hmm
15% me.
hmm
But if I can stick to that, then at least it's like intentional and I can
yeah,
say, hey, maybe it doesn't feel like a lot right now, but at least I'm carving out and setting aside 15% of my days
yeah.
uh, for me. And then I don't have to get like swept away in the martyr mother. I give all of my time to my children.
Yep,
Like,
yep, yep, yep.
yes, the majority of my time is going to my family, but it doesn't have to be every moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like when you do take the time to be proactive rather than reactive, you don't get swept into that, right? And you're able to see, okay, I'm going to do at least one thing for me each day. And whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, at least you give yourself that time. So it feels like, I also matter and my goals and wants and desires are also important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's remembering too. And I was just thinking about this idea of like micro moments of
Hmm.
self-care where it's like, you know, again, being proactive, being intentional. So like I have coffee every single morning. Well, can I listen to like my favorite song while I'm making my cup of
Hmm.
coffee? Can I, when I let the dogs out in the morning, can I like pause for a second and let the sun hit my face? And it's just that, but it's noticing it and paying attention to it, right?
Right, right, right. Being mindful in those moments. And when we're stressed, it's really hard to find that um, kind of gratitude for the little things. But something that keeps popping up on my feed is um, finding the glimmers instead of the triggers.
That's right. The glimmers. I love this new word. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So the triggers are, what kind of puts you in that fight or flight mode. But the glimmers are the things that happen throughout the day. Like you said, the sunshine hitting your face that remind you of like, I'm alive. What a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good. I like that.
Okay, great. So do you feel like we have talked about everything you wanted to talk about and feels like a good stopping point here?
It feels like I have a little bit of a plan, and it's always just nice to, my gosh, even this call is like a glimmer. It's like a moment of self-care for me. Like I get to talk about
Definitely.
me, what I want to do for a minute, and remind
Yeah.
myself that like I have hopes and dreams outside of, being devoted wholly to my family. So thank you.
Yeah. You are more than just a mother. You are a wonderful, incredible woman who does so much for others and deserves to do for herself too.
Thanks, lady.